Hey guys, I know everyone really loved my last video, but some people, had a couple of disagreements, even though the video was how uncomfortable I feel alone in a room with each hero. And it's like, I mean, that's a very subjective tier list. So I'm sure you guys won't have any problems with this tier list about side hustles because now we are no longer in the subjective territory and this is completely objective and it's 100% right. And if you disagree with me, come at me in the comments. Tell me this is the worst tier list you've ever seen in your life, but you're lying because I am 100% accurate in everything I say, and you guys have to listen to me. And by the way, while we're on this topic, no one's subscribed. Look at this little chart. No one is subscribing. You guys got to subscribe. I mean, it's to the 0.5% of you. Props. Y'all get me. Y'all get me. Anyways, here we go. Ranking heroes on how much money they would make with the side hustle. So yeah, let's get into it. So S tier is making the most and D tier is making the least. Okay, so Diva, I feel like she could coach people. She could sign up on like Fiverr or whatever and be like, you guys could play video games with me and I'm really good and I could carry you. And I feel like because she's really good and also she's a girl, she would get a lot of clients or customers. But also like the ceiling on how much money you could make for doing that isn't too high. So I'm gonna put her in B tier, pretty good, but not the best. Doomfist, I feel like he could just be get into boxing tournaments and get a lot of like side income because of that. And I feel like that'd pay pretty well, but I feel like he wouldn't want to be all the way at the top, even though he probably could win. I mean, he can't win. He can't bring his big Doomfist gauntlet, of course, which makes him a little weaker. But I think he really likes punching people. I don't know how much money there is in that though, so I'm gonna put him in B tier. Let's see, Junker Queen. I don't really know what she would be able to do. She does those like little scrap wars and stuff. Um, or not scrap wars, but like, she fights people in the arena. I don't know how much that pays, so I'm just gonna put her in C tier. Mauga, he could do like if you guys ever seen Moana, he could do a Dwayne the Rock Johnson impersonation and like go to kids' birthdays parties and stuff. And for that, I'll put him in B tier. Arisa, I think she would be a really good like Santa Claus. Like during the winter time, she could go to the mall and put on like a Santa hat and people could sit on her lap. I feel like she'd be really good at that. But also I feel like there's not too much money in that. So I'm gonna put her in D tier. Um Ramatra. I don't really know what he would do. I don't know if he like created his own like omnic forms and stuff, but he could like kind of do. I don't know. That's really a tough one. I'm gonna hold off on him. Reinhardt, I feel like he could work at like McDonald's, but I feel like he'd be breaking things all the time. And like I don't really know what else he would do. So I'm gonna put him in D tier. I don't think he'd be very good. Roadhog, I don't think, if he tries to do a side hustle, like telemarketing and stuff like that, I just don't think people could understand him too well because he's got the mask on. So I'm gonna put him on D tier. Sigma. So this is interesting. He's like really smart or something, but also I don't think he has too much control over himself because of whatever the disaster with the graviton flux experiment. So even though he's like smart and I feel like he can make money, I just don't, maybe like I don't know. I think yeah, I'm just gonna put him in D tier. Winston, he could he could go to a zoo and just like I feel like the zoo would have to pay good money to have him there because he's a scientist and he wouldn't want to be in a zoo. But at the same time, it's like, people would really like if he's on the other side of the glass and he's like, "Ooh, I'm Winston," and they're like, "Oh my god, the monkey could talk and he's got glasses," and that's really cool. And he could do his little dance that he does on the payload where he's like, you know, people would really like that. And I feel like he would be pretty good at negotiating with the zoo on making sure they pay him well. Next up is Wrecking Ball. Again, like birthday parties and stuff. I think people would like having him rolling around and like jumping out of the Wrecking Ball suit and doing his little dance. And I feel like since he's like pretty good at all that stuff, I feel like he could charge a lot um for like birthday parties. And he could just go to like rich kid birthday parties. So I do think B tier. Next up is Zarya. She could give like bodybuilding, like a private trainer or whatever. And I feel like because she's like so good at that, she could charge a lot of money. So yeah, I'll put her in A tier. Um, Ash, this is a tough one. I don't really know what she would do. I feel like she could like scam people maybe. She could run like a little scamming business where she uses AI to fake people. Like, cause I don't think she really cares too much about scamming. Like she wouldn't feel too bad. So I'm gonna put her in A tier. Scamming is like a pretty good side hustle. Bastion, I think he could kind of just like um I think he could sell himself to like the military. The military industrial complex has a lot of money, and I think that would be a really good side hustle for him. Cassidy, he could go to like kind of like a carnival. He could be like a carny where he's like really good at shooting things and be like, watch this. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna hit every target because I'm really talented at shooting. Um, I don't know what else he would do. I don't think there's much money in that, so I'm gonna give him C tier. Echo, I don't know. She could just stand in like a museum. I feel like, and she could just like float there, and like when people come up, actually like a street performer, people would be like, "Oh my god, how does this person floating?" And it's like they don't know that she's like a robot and like cool like that. But and she could put her like a hat out and like kind of get tips. But I don't think there's too much money in that, so I'm gonna go C tier. Genji, I mean, he could be like an assassin or something, or like a hitman, and I feel like for that he could get a good amount of money. Um, I think that actually pays very well. Is killing people, and I feel like he'd be good at that. He could just dash in, dash out before anyone notices. Hanzo could give like kind of like archery practice. He could teach people. But I feel like he'd get pretty bad reviews because I think he would kind of like be very disappointed and yell at people and be like, I don't know how to teach you. And because he has the bad reviews, I don't think he'd get too many clients. So I'm gonna put him in C tier. Junkrat, he could just steal things. I think he really likes that. And also he could like do demolitions for like buildings and stuff. Um, yeah, but I just don't know how good he'd be at all this stuff. So I'll just put him in A tier. May, she could like work at like a Speedway or a 7-Eleven, and if there's like a drink that's not cold enough, she could make it colder, but also that's not that good. So I'll just put her in C tier. Farah, she could she could be like a painter for like high spots, and like as a specialist, I feel like she'd be able to get it done pretty quick. Like imagine if she has like a paint roller and she's just holding it in her hand and she just hits her jet boosters, she's going to paint really fast. And because painting gives a decent amount of money, and she would be like a specialist for getting high places. I'll put her in A tier. um Next up is Reaper. I think he'd be really good in a haunted house. Like he could just wraith form and go right through people, but I don't think there's too much money in that. So that'll be C tier. Sojourn, I feel like she'd be kind of like, I don't know. She could get like some sort of I don't know. It's kind of tough. Kind of like not like telemarketing, but like some sort of work from home job that pays decently. So I'll put her in B tier. Soldier 76. As probably one of the only people in the Overwatch universe that could run, I feel like he could kind of join the Olympics because I don't know if anyone else in the universe could run. So I'll put him in A tier. I think if you get a gold medal, that pays pretty good. Sombra, I feel like she could hack people and put ransomware and kind of ransom people to get a lot of money. So that's definitely S tier. Symmetra, like kind of imagine Symmetra as almost like an Uber, okay, where she puts a teleporter up and kind of just like teleports people. And I think there's like a good market for that. And because she'd be the fastest one in town, it would be very well sought after. So I'm gonna put her in A tier, not making as much as like an assassin and a military and a hacker, but still pretty good. Torbjorn could like build a lot of things and probably sell it for a pretty good amount of money. And I think he's pretty quick at it. Like if we look at Cassidy's grenade, he's just switching it all the time. And his flashbang turned into a magnetic grenade, into like a hinder flash thing, into like a hinder flash thing that explodes quicker. That was all Torb. And I feel like that'd be cool. Okay, Tracer, DoorDash. DoorDash doesn't have a lot of money, so it would be C tier, but she would be so quick that we're gonna put that in B tier. And also the fact that she wouldn't have to put like miles on a vehicle and pay for gas. I think that's definitely B tier. Because she would make more money. Venture, archaeologist, it's hit or miss. If they find something good in the ground or something, like that's cool and they can make a lot of money. And also they're not gonna have to buy food because they could just eat rocks. So we're gonna put that in B tier because it's really hit or miss. Widowmaker again, and assassin. That's a lot of money in that. Anna, she could be like a sleep specialist where she helps people with insomnia, sleep. And because she's so good at it, I feel like she could charge a lot of money. Baptiste, man, this is an interesting one. I don't really know what he would do. So yeah, I don't know. I think he just would. I think he thinks he's above, this whole side hustle thing. So I'm gonna put him in D tier. Brig, along with Torb, I think she's really good at like making things, but also I don't know if she's as good as Torb. So I'm gonna put her in A tier. Next up is Alari. I feel like she just doesn't know much, and isn't gonna be able to kind of like utilize any like abilities or kind of, I don't know. I just don't. Okay, Ramatra, a mentor. He's gonna be a mentor. Okay. We're gonna put him in B tier. He could just chart, if he makes like a YouTube channel where he kind of like really scams people into thinking he's really good, but I don't think he'd be good at making a YouTube channel and trying to get like clients to be the mentor for. So I'm gonna put him in B tier. Juno as a Martian or whatever, born on Mars. She's not gonna really understand America, not America, the Earth too well. And for that, I don't think she's going to be able to do. She probably doesn't understand capitalism too well, so she's going to be a definite D tier. Kiriko, I don't know if she really brings any value to the table. I'm going to put her in D tier for sure. Let's see, Life Weaver. I think he could be a male model, and I think he can make decent money, but also I don't think he'd be like the top model, so I'll put him in B tier. Lucio, I think he probably makes a lot of money doing like music venues and stuff. Like his like poster is on in Numbani, I think. So that's a really good side hustle. Mercy, she could definitely be like healing people and be a doctor. So for that, it could be A tier for sure. Because that pays well, and she doesn't have to do it all the time. She could just pop into the hospital every once in a while and just resurrect people. And if that's possible. Next up, Moira. Moira's got like a lot of science experiments and experience. So I think she could, maybe find some ways to make money with that for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna put her in A tier. Zenyatta could be kind of like a mentor and kind of teaching people how to meditate. But at the same time, I don't think he would charge too much for that because I don't think he cares too much about money. So I'm gonna put him in C tier. Even though he's got the talent for it, I just don't think he would, make too much money doing that. So yeah, this is the tier list for how much money each character would make with the side hustle. So yeah, hope you guys like it.